That day, if our positions were switched, would our fates be different? Would I have your life, and you mine? Let's settle this. Dante.
What's good, people? Agent Juice reporting for duty. My favorite show on television right now has returned. Mao Mao and the Heroes of Pureheart. The second half of season 1 has dropped, and I've decided to share my thoughts about it. The TLDR of it is I still like it, obviously. So instead of just continuously gushing about, oh, it's so great, I kind of wanted to dissect something it did very specific in this season that I feel is interesting, and I hope they continue upon it. So without further ado, let us go ahead and once again buckle into our favorite arrow cycle with our companions. Let us go off to a kingdom full of wimps and defend them from other wimps who are more malicious, and smack them like we smack that like button. And let's go ahead and dive once again into Mao Mao. So, first things first, let's go ahead and talk about the Speedpaint. Recently, I was on vacay, and I was visiting my brother who turns 21, so happy birthday, bro. And I got him Devil May Cry 5 for his birthday. And Devil May Cry is like one of my favorite video game series of all time. And so, the funny thing is that for those of you unfamiliar with Devil May Cry, the TLDR is about devil hunters, and the shtick is that the main devil hunter, Dante, is a half demon, so he gets all these cool powers, but he has a twin brother named Virgil who's evil, and they always clash. That's their thing, right? And so the thing about Dante is like really cool and laid back, but like Virgil is like super serious and like, ooh, I must get more power, the usual villain thing. So it's kind of funny because Mao Mao himself is a very neurotic type A personality about justice, and so, you know, I feel like if Virgil was a good guy, he would be very Mao Mao-esque. So I wanted to do an homage with Mao Mao as Virgil, you know, and they both have katanas because they're edgy boys. So I wanted to have them be katana twins as well as being edgy boy twins. So that's the explanation there. Mao Mao! So, Mao Mao continues to be very entertaining. It continues to have a great cast. I love Mao Mao. I love you, Mao Mao. Finally, my dreams are coming. Okay, that's enough of the theme song joke. I love Badger Clops. I love Adorabat. The Sky Pirates, the villains, I love them. They're all great. It has that Avatar thing of there isn't a character I dislike in the entire cast. Even their one-off denizens, like the citizens who are called the Cutie Pies. Even they're crazy. So it's just more of that. Good on you. Right, Parker Simmons, you're doing great. Keep it up. So what I want to talk about is this show is doing something interesting that they kind of hinted at the first part of the season 1, and have developed a little more in part 2 of season 2, and that is an introduction to more heavy subjects in the show. Specifically, what I'm referring to, and there will be spoilers ahead, so just a heads up. What I'm referring to is there is an episode where we learn about Adorabat's parents. Her dad is still around and hasn't seen her in a long time because he works really hard. And the reason why he works really hard is because he's trying to support Adorabat because he's a single father. And the reason why he's a single father is because Adorabat's mother died. And she died because she was killed by a monster. I believe it's actually the same monster that took Adorabat's leg, which is why Adorabat has a peg leg. And this is very heavy stuff. And, you know, heavy stuff is not new to cartoons. Even like American for kids cartoon, like Avatar: The Last Airbender, there's plenty of heavy stuff. There's plenty of character death, implied death, sorrow, and whatnot. But what I really find interesting is that Mao Mao is not a heavy show. It is not a show that's trying to be, you know, like a high-stakes adventure like Avatar. It's not trying to be Kipo. You know, Kipo is really trying to pitch itself as Avatar-esque and like high-stakes and like big adventure and emotionality. And yet they have this very interesting episode where they straight up admit that, hey, you know, Adorabat's mother is dead. She got killed by a monster. Normally, when a show steps outside its tonal purview, it tends to kind of not do so well. But here, I believe Mao Mao is able to actually do it well. Now, do I think this because I have a heavy bias towards the show and I really love it? I'm willing to give it a lot of slack. Yeah, straight up. Okay, I'm not a critic. Okay, this was never meant to be a channel about my professional opinion on writing. This is just me sharing my thoughts. So I am always going to be biased. I'm always going to only give my opinion. And if you want actual critical analyses on cartoons, even on YouTube, there are people more qualified than me. So don't expect a fair assessment of Mao Mao on this channel, and especially in this video. So yes, I'm willing to excuse it even as a bad thing. However, to try to defend myself here, I'm going to say that I believe that they're able to insert this little heavy moment without being too ham-fisted, because it plays into how Mao Mao the show flows. And let me go ahead and break that down real quick. There's never a moment in this particular episode where they shift the tone from happy to like too sappy. There's never a moment where any of the characters like break down and cry. Not like the humorous cry that they'll do a lot in the show, but like there's no like sudden like sad music and quiet moments where like they say like, oh, you know, your mother was so great. They are sad about her passing, but they do it in such a light touch that it doesn't disrupt the natural flow of the episode, and I believe the tone of the show. So they're still able to keep it kind of like this hilarious, haphazard, lighthearted, goofy cartoon, but they're able to kind of gently sprinkle in the fact that, you know, her Adorabat's mother died, and it was a sad, tragic thing. And the point of the episode is that Adorabat has to prove to her father that she's capable of being a hero, because he's very overprotective of her, obviously because of the whole incident with her mother. And so, you know, it ends with like Adorabat facing off the monster that killed her mother and defeating it along with Mao Mao and Badger Klops, and proving to her dad straight up that like he has now seen that she is a capable hero. And not only that, but she has other more experienced heroes there to help her and train her. So it's a growth moment for her. It's a growth moment for her dad, and all that stuff. So it still fits the motif of Mao Mao, and it's able to kind of sprinkle in that tragedy without having a hard tonal shift. And I think that's a really admirable thing to be able to do, because sometimes, even though you're making like a goofy, doofy show, sometimes you want to have a kind of a sad moment or kind of a serious moment, but you don't want to jam the brakes up of this lighthearted thing and all of a sudden get super serious, because that's jarring. Tonal whiplash is no bueno. And I'm kind of glad that that episode kind of reined it in. The second little thing that the show is starting to do is it's starting to tip its hand about what's to come next. And I really like it when a show acknowledges not only it has continuity, but it's willing to tell a longer form story, which is a new thing emerging a lot in animation, and I'm really glad it is. The episode I'm talking about is it's kind of a doofy. It starts doofy, where Adorabat wants to tell jokes, but she's made fun of, and so she really wants to zing people who insult her, so she can be funny and insult back and be funny about it. And the big heart gem, the big thing that covers the kingdom that they live in, glows and grants Adorabat this power so that her insults shoot a beam of energy out of her mouth, and she becomes like drunk with power. But it turns out she's actually being possessed by the gem, because it's a force that she actually doesn't like and is trying to actively fight back against. So this episode is about that, and you know, they eventually save her from the possession, but it's now implied that this strange heart gem has a will of its own, and it is willing to exact said will upon others who maybe not directly ask for its power, but indirectly ask for some kind of special ability based on emotion. And that's really interesting. I hope that they develop further upon this, because Mao Mao's already funny. It's already it's already got a great setting, and now it's starting to show that it can handle more serious aspects, and it can also it's looking like it's going to tell a larger story. Now, of course, this is all based on 2 episodes, so they've only done it once. So for all I know, this is a fluke, and the next time they try it, it falls flat on its face, and Mao Mao, the show, falls apart, and I say, like, curse you, Mao Mao! I used to love you, and now you're garbage! I can't tell the future. But, again, I have a heavy bias towards this show because it's just so fun. I guess this just kind of goes to show you that if you can really captivate your audience, it's easier to insert new ideas as long as you don't betray the initial reason why they came to you in the first place. And I think that's a big thing. They didn't, like I said, they didn't jam up the tone in order to be more heavy and introduce us to Adorabat's mother's death. They were still Mao Mao about it. They didn't all of a sudden become a new show. They didn't suddenly become like super serious and everyone has to be mopey. So it's kind of promising because it shows as long as you kind of stick to your guns, you can insert new ideas and it goes by more smoothly for your fans. Anyway, I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up there for today. So if you like what you've seen and want to see more, go ahead and tickle those sacred buttons, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, so you're always privy to when I post next. Also, of course, go ahead and comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. If you watch Mao Mao, if you like Mao Mao, if you hate Mao Mao, if you hate me, or like me, whatever. Go ahead and let me know. Also, go ahead and, of course, share the video. It's good for me. It's good for you. It's good for the channel. It's good for your dental hygiene. I am not a doctor, so don't take my word on it. But I'm just going to baselessly claim that it's good for your dental hygiene. And of course, if you wish to stalk me elsewhere, go ahead and hit up my links. Here they are on the screen. If you want to actually click the links, go to my intro video in the description box down below. You can click on that, which will lead you to my links. I do that because it's an algorithm trick. It's one of the tools of the trade, so that's the reason why I do it. But with all that said, I thank you for spending this time with me. I hope you all stick around, and until next time, deuces.